The HOA president literally tried to steal my lake 3 days after I moved in. Turns out she didn't know I own the docks her entire neighborhood depends on. Picture this. I'm standing in my late uncle's cabin when this pearl white Escalade comes crunching up my gravel driveway. Out steps this woman in a tennis outfit, clutching papers like the Holy Grail. "I'm Belinda Crankshaw, HOA president," she announces, shoving documents into my hands. "This lake is community property. Sign over marina operations immediately." The papers felt official, but her desperate eyes told me she was bluffing. What I didn't know was that she was sitting on a financial time bomb, and I was the only one who could defuse it. 6 months ago, I was Marcus Trenton, 45, divorced electrician from Detroit, living in a studio apartment that smelled like regret. My ex-wife got the house, I got the legal bills. Then Uncle Silas died and changed everything. Uncle Silas was the family hermit who'd lived alone on incredible Lake Winnebago property for 40 years. The funeral was tiny, just me and weathered neighbors whispering about him, keeping vultures away. The lawyer's office reeked of old coffee when he slid inheritance papers across his desk. 2 acres of prime waterfront, Mr. Trenton. The cabin needs work, but you own 400 feet of shoreline, including underwater rights, and that 8-slip marina. That's $1,600 monthly income. The property was stunning. Pine trees towered over a 1960s cabin with good bones. Crystal clear water lapped against professionally built docks. This could be my fresh start. Then Belinda introduced herself. 3 days after the funeral, I'm measuring for windows when gravel explodes under Escalade tires. Out steps this woman radiating entitlement like heat off asphalt. Designer sunglasses, fake smile that could cut glass. She marches toward my door with nervous board members trailing behind. "We need to discuss your situation." Inside the folder were papers claiming lake access was grandfathered community easement, demanding I sign marina operations over for $1 annually. "This is how Lakeshore Estates operates," she explains like I'm deficient. "We maintain standards, protect property values. We cannot allow inappropriate commercial operations disrupting our family community." Her coded language made my skin crawl. The message was clear. People like you don't belong here. 48 hours, she continues. "Sign willingly, or we'll destroy you in court." Ask the Hendersons how that worked out. "Oh wait, you can't." They sold and moved away. That night, surrounded by Uncle Silas's papers, I dove into his journals. What I found made my blood boil. Page after page documenting Belinda's systematic harassment campaigns. The Kowalski family forced out after frivolous lawsuits. The Martinez couple driven away by constant violations. But one entry stopped me cold. Belinda thinks she's smart, but she doesn't know about the 1999 county easement agreement. $12,000 annual fee required for lake access rights. Haven't seen payment in years. Whoever inherits this place has the nuclear option. Another entry revealed. The marina sits on MY underwater property. Every boat slip, every dock post. Mine by deed. Let the vultures come. This wasn't just about property rights. This was about a systematic bully terrorizing lakefront owners for years. She'd picked the wrong target. Belinda declared war immediately. The morning after her ultimatum expired, 3 vehicles invaded my driveway. County inspection truck, sheriff's deputy, and Belinda's Escalade. Mr. Trenton, Dave Morrison, county inspector. Multiple complaints about illegal operations, environmental violations, unpermitted structures. Behind him, Belinda bounced with excitement in her tennis outfit armor. But working construction for 20 years teaches you to recognize intimidation. "Ma'am, I need to conduct this inspection without interference," Dave told Belinda firmly. Once she was gone, Dave's demeanor changed. "Your uncle was good people. This lady's been filing complaints for 3 weeks before you even moved in." 3 weeks. I'd inherited 4 weeks ago. Dave examined everything with professional thoroughness. 0 violations. "I've seen this pattern twice before," he whispered. "Constant harassment, frivolous complaints, then property gets sold dirt cheap. Guess who bought it through shell companies?" That evening, I photographed every page in Uncle Silas's files. The 1952 deed was unambiguous. All riparian rights extending to Lake Centerline, including Lake Bottom and all structures built thereon. Uncle Silas had noted, "Most people don't know waterfront property includes Lake Bottom unless specifically excluded. That's why lakefront costs more. Every boat slip, Every dock, every chain, mine by law. The next morning, I called Dave Morrison. I need to file complaints. Trespassing, illegal commercial ventures. The HOA's been charging $200 monthly for marina slips on MY Lake Bottom for 15 years. That's $144,000 in unpaid lease fees. That afternoon, allies emerged. Tom and Betty Henderson knocked carrying cookies and looking nervous. Same playbook she used on us, Betty said, handing me documentation. Every violation notice, every legal threat, cost us $31,000 in legal fees. Betty's next words changed everything. 3 other families got identical treatment. All sold for 60 to 70% market value to the same shell company. That night, listening to water lap against posts that were legally mine, I made a decision. This wasn't just about my property anymore. This was about stopping a systematic predator. I opened my laptop and typed formal trespass notices for every boat using the marina, demanding $50,000 in back rent, requiring vessel removal within 30 days. Game on, Queen Belinda. Belinda's response was swift and vicious. Within 48 hours, she'd called an emergency HOA meeting with red flyers screaming, "Urgent community health hazard." Tom Henderson called afterward. "She's lost her mind. Claimed your dock improvements leach chemicals. Said you're planning commercial fishing that'll bring undesirable elements. She's hired a $400 an hour lawyer from Grand Rapids, filing injunctions to stop your construction work." But Belinda's masterstroke came next morning. 3 marina slip renters walked up my driveway looking defeated. "Marcus," Frank started, "we got HOA letters yesterday. If we don't terminate slip leases by Friday, we face $500 daily fines." Belinda was weaponizing their neighbors against them. I called maritime attorney Patricia Wong. "Your riparian rights are ironclad," she said. "But there's something else. I've seen Belinda Crankshaw's tactics before. She's acquired 4 lakefront properties using identical harassment campaigns, offering settlement buyouts at 60% market value. The pattern crystallized. Your uncle's marina lease agreements show $200 monthly payments for 15 years. But HOA financial records show they collected $250 per month for marina maintenance fees. They've been pocketing $50 extra for 15 years, approximately $36,000 in fraudulent fees. That evening, I crafted detailed letters to all 47 HOA households, exposing the financial fraud, conflicts of interest, and harassment patterns. The kicker: all marina operations will cease until HOA settles their $144,000 debt. All boats must be removed within 30 days. By Thursday, my phone rang constantly. Half the neighborhood kept boats at my marina. Without those slips, they had nowhere to dock. But the best call came from Patricia. "That 1999 county agreement your uncle mentioned? I found it. The HOA's lake access easement requires annual $12,000 payments. They've made 0 payments. They owe $312,000 in back fees. Without that easement, the entire HOA loses lake access. 31 homes would lose 40% of their value overnight." Suddenly, I wasn't fighting for survival. Belinda was. Belinda's desperation hit like a hurricane. She called city councils, county commissioners, anyone who'd listen, claiming I was an environmental terrorist. Tuesday brought an official truck, Environmental Protection Services. Reports of untreated waste entering the lake. My septic was perfectly functional. After inspection, the guy admitted quietly, "System looks fine." But I got 3 calls this week demanding investigation. Same lady each time. Wednesday brought worse news. Neighbor Jerry jogged over nervously. "Belinda hired a private investigator from Detroit to dig up dirt on your background." That afternoon, Channel 8 News called, "Anonymous tip about environmental violations at your property." "I'd love to talk," I replied, "but not about violations, about systematic HOA fraud and harassment campaigns. I've got 40 years of documentation." By the time I finished explaining, she was scheduling Friday interviews. Thursday brought her nuclear option. 3 vehicles roared up like a military convoy. County inspector, sheriff's deputy, and a guy in a hazmat suit claiming state environmental agency authority. Cease all construction immediately pending groundwater contamination investigation. Behind them, Belinda sat directing troops from her Escalade. But Uncle Silas's preparation paid off. I called Patricia on speaker. "Officers, What specific contaminants are you testing for? What baseline readings? Who filed this complaint? Suddenly nobody wanted to answer. Turns out Belinda had fabricated claims about construction chemicals, but I had eco-friendly receipts for everything. The breakthrough came when Tom Henderson arrived with vindication. Property deeds, sale records, corporate filings showing the same shell company buying every harassed property. Lakeshore Development, LLC. Guess who's the managing member? Belinda Crankshaw. Dale-approved mortgages using inflated appraisals. They'd been running systematic property theft for 8 years. Friday morning changed everything. I found an envelope wedged behind Uncle Silas's filing cabinet. For my heir when the vultures circle. Inside, a 1999 photocopied agreement between Silas Trenton and Lakeshore County. Easement agreement for lakefront development access. The county needed lake access to approve new subdivision. Without it, 47 families couldn't build dream homes. They'd negotiated permanent HOA lake access for $12,000 annually. But payments stopped in 2017. They owed 8 years, $96,000 plus compound interest totaling $147,000. Uncle Silas's note. They stopped paying thinking I was too old to fight. The easement expires automatically if payments lapse over 12 months. Without lake access, 31 homes lose 40% value. That's $2.3 million in collective depreciation. Now you understand Belinda's desperation. His final note. Belinda knows about this agreement. She's trying to steal my property to make the easement disappear forever. Patricia called immediately. Found something important. When I told her about the easement, she replied, "That explains everything." Belinda bought other lakefront properties specifically to eliminate easement claims. The entire Lakeshore Estates development was contingent on that easement. Without it, county never would have approved 47 homes on landlocked subdivision. This wasn't about my dock. This was about millions in property values and a bank portfolio that could collapse. Belinda's response was illegal desperation. Sunday night, heavy machinery dumped concrete debris at my shoreline edge. Monday morning, spray paint reading community property covered my dock in dripping red letters. Tuesday afternoon brought Sheriff Deputy Martinez looking uncomfortable. 3 reports filed claiming you threatened board members with violence. Deputy, I was at my attorney's office until 9 p.m., then home watching Netflix. I have receipts and streaming history. Figured as much. Maybe install security cameras for protection. Patricia called with blood pressure spiking news. Belinda tried bribing Jim Bailey, offered $2,000 to find environmental violations. She also approached septic, electrical, and fire marshal inspectors. She's trying to buy violations. Wednesday brought mail theft horror. Tom Henderson called at 6 a.m. They got into our mailbox, stole 3 weeks, including Social Security checks. Found our stuff scattered near Belinda's house. Federal crime. She was risking serious prison time. Thursday brought Michigan Department of Natural Resources. Reports of construction disturbing protected wildlife nesting areas. After 2 hours inspection, Sandra delivered her verdict. Your improvements actually benefit lake ecology. Whoever filed this complaint is deliberately wasting state resources. Jerry brought evening intelligence. Emergency board meeting. Belinda proposed hiring private security to patrol boundaries 24/7. But good news. 3 more board members resigned over harassment lawsuit fears. Boards down to Belinda, Dale, and one guy who owes Dale's bank $50,000. Friday I installed professional security. 8 cameras covering every angle, motion sensors, cloud backup streaming to Patricia's office. Rebecca Marsh arrived grinning. I teach Dale's daughter Emma. Yesterday she asked why Daddy's worried about the lake man. Mentioned hearing parents argue about money they owe and selling their house before everything falls apart. The rats were preparing to flee. Belinda's final week was criminal desperation. Monday brought fake Lakeshore Property Management Services. Measuring my shoreline with forged court orders. Tuesday, Patricia called furiously. She filed marina lease renewal claiming you signed 99-year agreement transferring lake rights for $1 annually. Laughably bad signature forgery. Federal felony. 5 years minimum. Wednesday brought bribery. Judge Morrison's campaign received mysterious $5,000 from concerned citizens. Dale's check using HOA funds. Thursday delivered environmental terrorism hoax. Belinda organized fake protest with temp agency workers paid $50 each. Channel 8 interviewed them. Half admitted on camera they had no idea what they were protesting. Friday brought escape news. Rebecca called. Emma Crankshaw didn't come to school. Belinda claimed visiting grandparents, but grandmother lives nearby. Tom confirmed. Saw them loading suitcases at 5 a.m. That afternoon changed everything. FBI Special Agent Lisa Bennett, Financial Crimes Division. We've been monitoring your neighborhood for weeks. Your attorney provided substantial documentation. We're ready for arrests, search warrants, asset seizure. This isn't local corruption. It's multi-state racketeering. We need you at Saturday's HOA meeting. Let her think she's safe while we execute warrants. Saturday morning arrived gray and misty. Community center parking lot packed. 47 households plus media and unmarked sheriff's cars. Inside, Belinda wore navy blazer armor. Fake smile stretched painfully tight. Dale hunched beside her, constantly checking his phone. Meeting started normally, budget reports, landscaping, but tension built like boiler pressure. Rebecca Marsh stood. I'd like to ask about $147,000 in unpaid easement fees the HOA owes Mr. Trenton for lake access rights. Dead silence. Belinda's smile flickered. Tom Henderson rose. The 1999 county agreement requiring $12,000 annual payments for community lake access. We haven't paid since 2017. More neighbors stood. 15 families who discovered their president had been lying about their community's legal foundation. Belinda's facade cracked. This is coordinated attack by outside agitators destroying our property values. That's when Agent Bennett walked through the back door, badge gleaming. Mrs. Belinda Crankshaw, you're under arrest for racketeering, mail fraud, wire fraud, document forgery, and conspiracy to commit real estate fraud. Handcuffs clicked with beautiful sound. Game over, Queen Belinda. The community center erupted. Agent Bennett approached, while 3 more agents positioned at exits. This is ridiculous. Belinda shrieked, chair toppling backward. You'll have that opportunity, Bennett replied calmly, pulling out gleaming handcuffs. Dale tried slipping toward side exit, but deputies were waiting. Dale Crankshaw, you're also under arrest for bank fraud, conspiracy, and RESPA violations. Channel 8 broadcast live, cameras capturing handcuffs around Belinda's wrists. This is a setup. Belinda screamed. He's the criminal. I stood slowly, pulling out the manila folder. Actually, Belinda, let's discuss who's been stealing what. Walking to front. Your HOA president has been lying about basic legal requirements for lake access. I held up the 1999 easement agreement. This requires annual $12,000 payments for community lake access. Without these, 31 homes lose water access entirely. Jerry raised his hand. How much do we owe? Including compound interest, $147,000. But that's not the worst part. Property records spread. Your president systematically targeted lakefront owners using harassment to force below-market sales. For families driven out, properties purchased through shell companies for 60% value. She's also defrauded you directly. HOA charged each $250 monthly for marina maintenance, while paying my uncle $200. That's $50 per household monthly for 15 years, approximately $36,000 stolen from community funds. Room exploded with overlapping outrage. Belinda struggled against handcuffs. You don't understand. He's an outsider. We were protecting the community. Protecting from what? Rebecca stood. From having a neighbor who legally owns his property? Tom Henderson rose. You drove us from our home with lies. $31,000 legal fees because you wanted our lakefront. Agent Bennett held up evidence bags. Mrs. Crankshaw attempted bribing inspectors, forged agreements, organized mail theft, filed false reports. We have recordings, photographs, witness testimony documenting systematic criminal activity spanning multiple states. But most satisfying moment came addressing the community. Despite everything your president put me through, I'm offering reasonable settlement. I'll forgive $147,000 in back easement payments for $50,000 payment plan over 5 years, funding marina improvements and lake restoration. Relief was palpable. Furthermore, I'll maintain community lake access at fair fees, establish resident-controlled marina committee, ensure transparent operations. Spontaneous applause as neighbors realized their nightmare was ending. As agents escorted Belinda toward exit, she turned back. "This isn't over. My lawyers will destroy you." Agent Bennett's perfect response: "Ma'am, you're facing 37 federal charges. Your lawyers are going to be very busy." Justice served, lakefront style. 6 months later, barbecue smoke and pine needles drifted across Lake Winnebago during the first annual Lake Freedom Festival. 300 people celebrated, while Belinda served 18 months in federal prison after pleading guilty to 14 fraud counts. Dale lost his banking license, received 2 years. FBI seized $340,000 fraudulent proceeds plus house, cars, boat, all auctioned to compensate victims. The transformation was breathtaking. New HOA board, elected unanimously, slashed dues 45% through transparent budgeting. Property values soared 18% once buyers learned about guaranteed access and honest management. Rebecca Marsh jogged over. "We've been dating for months. Fighting corruption together builds incredible foundations." She handed me thick envelope. Notification that our environmental restoration project won $25,000 state grant. The Silas Trenton Lake Conservation Initiative would transform 200 acres into pristine habitat. Tom and Betty Henderson approached with pulled pork plates, becoming unofficial neighborhood grandparents. 42 kids signed up for sailing program, Betty announced. Emma Crankshaw first on list. Emma stayed with grandmother after parents' arrests, thriving without toxic stress. Sometimes justice looks like a 10-year-old learning to sail on water her parents tried stealing. Marina Cooperative generated $3,200 monthly funding playground equipment, road repairs, accessible beach area. Uncle Silas would have loved seeing old slips serving entire community. Jerry bounded over with perfect news. Patricia Wong's documentary won regional Emmy. She's launching national nonprofit legal clinic for HOA abuse victims. They're calling it the Lake Winnebago model. Media attention had been intense, but healing. Weekly calls from other property owners facing similar harassment. Patricia's clinic already helped 17 families fight corrupt HOAs in 6 states. Michigan legislature passed Property Rights Protection Act requiring easement disclosure, establishing harassment campaign penalties. Ohio, Wisconsin, Indiana drafting similar laws. Uncle Silas's quiet resistance became national movement. Most meaningful moment came when original Kowalski family returned, buying cabin across lake, rejoining community they'd been terrorized into abandoning. "You didn't just save your property," Mr. Kowalski said. "You saved the idea that regular people can fight back and win." As twilight painted lake gold and crimson, I stood on dock where this war began. Wood felt smooth under my feet, worn by countless neighbors no longer fearing their own community. Children's laughter echoed across water sparkling with reflected stars. The Silas Trenton Environmental Scholarship would award $5,000 annually to students studying conservation. First recipient, Emma Crankshaw, proof that even bullies' children deserve chances building something better. Uncle Silas's journals taught me protecting good people sometimes means stopping bad ones. But the real lesson was simpler. Communities heal when neighbors choose courage over fear, truth over convenience, justice over easy paths. Festival wound down as stars emerged over Lake Winnebago, reflecting like scattered diamonds on water finally belonging to everyone who lived beside it. Stories like this prove ordinary people can defeat corrupt systems when they stand together. If you've got your own HOA nightmare, drop it in comments. Your story might be featured next. If you loved seeing justice served lakefront style, subscribe to HOA Stories for more tales of neighbors fighting back and winning against petty tyrants. Because sometimes the good guys really do win. Thanks for spending time with us on HOA Stories, where HOA czars finally get checked. Hit like, comment your favorite part below, and subscribe so you'll catch our next HOA showdown.